host, Stevens Ramirez, while I'm everywhere and nowhere at the same time. I would like to welcome you to Not For Nothing Podcast, the show where we dive deep into the lives and stories of remarkable individuals who are making a significant impact in their respective fields. Today, we have an absolute powerhouse joining us, Christoper Miller, a true force to be reckoned with in the world of professional basketball. Not only Christoper a phenomenal athlete, but he's also a role model for aspiring players and a beacon of inspiration for the youth. As a defensive maestro, he has earned a coveted title of Defensive Player of the Year, solidifying his dominance on the court with honors such as being selected for the first team All-NBL, All-Import team, and rankings like number 2 in points, number 1 in steals, number 3 in efficiency, and number 3 in three-point percentage, and number 5 in assists. Christoper has not only outperformed his opponents, but also served as a living testament to hard work and dedication, and especially perseverance. Join us on this episode as we dive into the mindset and journey of Christoper Miller, uncovering the secrets behind his remarkable success and gaining invaluable insights that can inspire each and every one of us. Get ready to be uplifted by an incredible story and of true champion and role model, Christoper Miller. Welcome, brother.
I like it. That was tough. Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So, it's been a long-awaited journey, and seeing how you progressively, impact the court on and off throughout the years, and even from our Clinton days and in college, I just want to dive into telling the story of you and your youth. How have you become this dedicated worker?
I don't know. It's to me, it just comes like natural. To be honest with you, like I knew what I wanted to do from young. Like you said, and growing up in the cities, you got 3 choices. To be honest with you, you either hoop, sell drugs, or rap. Right? And it's we laugh about it, but it's at that point in time, I was like kind of all you thought your options would be, and I couldn't rap, and I damn sure didn't want to sell drugs. So I found out that being a hooper was the way to go, and it kept me out of a lot of trouble growing up, and I actually enjoyed it. So I was just like, all right, if I could focus on this, this is what I want to do, figure out what it takes to get there, and just continue to do it, Like, for me, it just seems so simple.
Okay. Chris, if that's okay if I can call you that. Beyond your athletic accomplishments, tell us about the person behind the athlete. How would you describe yourself in a few words, and what are your values that you hold dear?
I never had to describe myself. I feel like I'm a disciplined person. I feel like I'm a hard worker, like on and off the court. Like the same principles that I hold dear in basketball is that I hold in my life. Like work hard, try to be as noble as you can, try to be as honest as you can. That's pretty much just the same thing I put on the basketball is the same thing I put into real life.
So what are your perspectives now, like how even in the league that we have here in America, and how rules are changing, the expectations are changing. What is your perspective on that?
The rules changing as far as what?
Like the expectations of certain players. Like for me, hearing Defensive Player of the Year, especially not even in your own continent, but somewhere else.
Yeah.
That should hold merit to have people to hey, hold on, let me take an eye at this cat. Because I know at times it can be a dog-eat-dog world real quick.
Yeah. Well, this basketball period is a dog-eat-dog world. It's super competitive. This next man up mentality it's a young man's sport. And, you know, I just crossed over to the 30s. So I'm 30 now, and I got to fight all these young bucks every day. And it's never what you did, it's what you've done lately. So even though I have Defensive Player of the Year and I've had all these awards, it doesn't mean anything right now. Like, you know, this is what can you do for me now? It's so what I've done there, you know, it doesn't really amount to anything on this side of the world, to be honest with you. Basketball is so competitive here. There's millions of guys that have done what I'm doing and more. So you just kind of got to get in when you fit in, and anytime you get to compete and show what you got to show anything.
Okay. So we touched a little bit on basketball. We'll get back into that. I want to know who inspired you to pursue this sport and also installed in you this Mamba mentality, so to speak.
Well, my mother, she had a hustler's mentality. You know, she was a singer, and seeing how she did whatever she could to continue singing, you know, that kind of, at the time, it was a little bit embarrassing, to be honest with you, because, like, we was hustling. Like, we had a table set up outside, you know, we was going to Goodwill, you know, we built a recording studio in the front of the house, like in our front room in the house, we had a recording studio.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? And at the time, it was embarrassing, but now looking back, I'm like, that's pretty dope. Like, my mother saying, my stepfather, he was an engineer, and they built their own situation. Like, they built their own recording studio. So, and she always was like, yeah, you gotta want it. You gotta, like, whatever you want, you just gotta be passionate about it and do it. Like, actually fucking do it. You know what I mean? So that just instill like the hard work, and like honestly, whatever you want to do, there's no excuses why it can't be done. And then the Mamba mentality is just a bunch of Kobe. Like, Kobe is I don't want to say idol, he's my favorite player. Period. Like, the way he works, and it's not necessarily like his skill on the court, even though that's great. It's the steps that he took to get there. That mentality is the biggest thing. So I took that from him. For years, I would listen to like all his speeches, any type of post game, pre game, any type of anything, him talking. Him, Will Smith, you know, Muhammad Ali, Denzel Washington. It's a bunch of guys that just have like a bunch of motivational speeches, and everybody started off from pretty much like the same humble beginnings. And the difference between a successful person and a, you know, unsuccessful person is mentality. Like, we both started at the same spot. Okay, what are you gonna do now? So, you know, Kobe fucking breaks a finger, still plays through it. You know, it's just teaching you that you gotta be relentless with this. You just gotta keep going. So, like, when I see that, it's like I really tell myself, all right, what would Kobe do in a situation? Like, even though I don't have the amount of skills that he has or had, you know, like, I still push myself to be a better version than yesterday. So each day, keep building, and then eventually you see, you know, you look back, you see where you came from.
Wow, that's very insightful, and I see how you speak so well about your mother. Let's dive into that a little bit. How has your mother your mother inspired you in, like, you know, your academics and in your athletics and life in general? How has she impacted you?
She was a tough person. Anybody that knows her know that she was fucking tough. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't take no bullshit, bro. And I was her first kid, and like at the time in the '90s, like when she found out she was having a boy, it was like around the time of Rodney King. I got beat up and all of these riots and stuff. So she didn't want a boy. You know, like, raising a boy in the '90s was not easy. You know what I mean? And she just made sure to be on top of it, like, the whole time. Just making sure she was like on top of everything that I was doing, bro. Like, so she made sure, like, you know, exposed me to different things. Just made sure I was well rounded. I had to do all my homework. you know, I had to not only, you know, C averages was like the minimum.
Mm-hmm.
I had to do B's and A's pretty much to fucking play basketball. And if the schoolwork wasn't right, the chores wasn't done, my little siblings wasn't taken care of, there was no basketball. You know what I mean? So, and then she had the same, like, you know, like I said, she said, you got to want it. And then the other one was like, not better, just different. You know, we grew up in the hood. We grew up in Brownsville. It's like one of the worst areas in New York, in the world. It's like top 10 worst cities. And it's a lot of stuff that's going on where she's like, yo, if you want different, you got to carry yourself different. Not that like you're better than somebody, but you just got to know that you're different than like, you know, the average person. So I've always carried those messages. And anytime I tried to stray away, she was right there, bro. She was right there. You know what I mean? Like, I was even when she started getting sick and stuff, like, she still had that power, you know, that intimidating factor of it. And, like, if I do anything wrong, even to this day, she passed 10, 11 years ago, I still would probably, like, look over my shoulder, like, I don't know where she at. You know, because she'll just pop up on you sometimes. So, like, she really was, like, in my life, you know, made sure, even when it was annoying, she made sure to, like, keep me on the right track, because it's so easy. It's so easy, girls, gangs, just making the wrong decision. It's so easy to stray off track, and she kept me on the right track. So, like, I just said, you know what, I'm just going to do this because, you know, I got it from here.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Like, I feel like what's special about us, even though, like, we're New Yorkers, like, we feel like we're safe everywhere because how we carry ourselves. Like, we don't talk, like, necessarily try to attract attention, but, like, if we could see, oh, nah, something look a little shaky. Yeah, I'm not going that way. Yeah. You know, so just hearing that, how you still maintain that discipline and that values that have been installed into you, it's very important. And it's often said that adversity reveals true character. Can you share a time where you faced a significant challenge outside of sports, and how did you overcome them? What did you learn from those experiences?
I mean, I tell the story all the time, but like, my mother passed. That's the year that we had met. I was like 19, so she was sick with lupus for like since I was 11. So for 8 years, she was in the hospital, where we became routine. So at 19, she finally passed. You know, she fought back through heart attacks, comas. Like, she was really fighting at 19. She finally passed. And at the time, she was like one of the closest people to me. So losing her was tough. On top of that, my younger siblings that I was living with, they ended up moving down to Florida. So in the snap of a finger, blink of an eye, I lost my mother and my whole family that I grew up in the house with. My 5 siblings, my stepfather, my 4 siblings, my stepfather, my mother. Not just my mother, but I lost the house, my friends, my neighborhood, just everything shaken up, done. And I also had school. And I also was the captain of my basketball team. So at the time, like, I was going through a lot of stuff, you know, dealing with just grieving, you know, like, just trying to figure that out. Like, you know, some days you'll be happy, you'll be normal, and then some days you just can't hack it. And, you know, just trying to change my mentality of, like, why me being a victim, and kind of, like, just celebrating the times that I did have with her, appreciating the people that she's put in my life, appreciating the lessons she gave to me, just kind of continuing to try to make her proud, you know what I mean? So at that time, like, it was a really dark time, you know. Some family, some friends were there, some weren't. You know, a lot of people picked it up. Shout out to my father. Definitely got to shout out to my father. He was always around, but he really picked it up at that time when I was 19, like, looking for something, he really picked it up. You know, me and him have gotten a lot closer since. Shout out to my aunts, you know, for just stepping up. But at the time, like, the one person that knows you the most is just no longer there. So I was like really jealous of people that were like old as hell, still got their parents, still got their grandparents. Like on my mom's side, I lost my grandmother and my mom. You know, so it was just like just a lot of that, all in trying to be a independent college student. You know what I mean? So at the time I was living like 3 different lives. I was trying to have fun with my friends. I'm 19. I'm finally away from the house. Like my whole house is blown up in the background. And then I got to play basketball, you know, so it was just a lot. But the love of basketball kept me through. My friends kept me through. My family kept me through. And just anytime I would feel any type of like sadness, I would just hit the gym. I'll just go shoot. I'll just go work out. I'm like, this is what I want to do. And going back to the choices that we make, how do you deal with distresses? I go to the fucking gym. Like, you know what I mean? I go to the gym. And it's been working ever since. Like, so I'm just, you know, continue to do that.
And that's how I met you in the gym. Like, a lot of people don't know, like, when we worked out, and like it's just like, hey, this is business, nothing, no distraction. We locked in, and that's the part that I still carried with me. I'm like, yo, if I'm in here, this is my church. Like, there's no jokes. All right, next set. All right, rest. All right, next set. Let's go. Let's keep it going. And seeing that, I became a fan of you. Seeing your game in Clinton, I was like, wow, this guy is really like a diamond in the rough, like really trying to grind it through, and how your world was a little bit uprooted because you had to like still hold yourself on by a tiny thread and like, hey, I gotta still continue, I gotta still succeed. Let's talk about that, the moments that you had that highlighted you in Clinton. How was your experience in that college?
It was different. It was different, man. Like, Plattsburgh is one of the greatest cities to meet in my life, my journey, because it allowed me to grow up and be a man. You know, like, I had my first apartment out there. I had a lot of real life situations out there. It taught me to choose my friends wisely. Long story short, like, there's a lot of stuff that was going on. There was a lot of stuff going on.
Oh yeah.
And I had to choose my friends wisely. And at the time, if I didn't have good people to be around, I would just try to stick to myself. You know, just the basketball, it helped me grow. Coach Doc, he helped me grow and like develop. And he allowed me to make mistakes. He allowed me to be an 18-year-old kid, you know, aggressive from Brooklyn, just angry at the world. Not even understand how, I don't think us as New Yorkers understand how angry we really are. Like, we just angry. Like, perfect example, I'm up in Plattsburgh, I'm walking. This white person come up to me, oh, good morning. Oh, I'm like, good morning. Who you like? In my head, I'm like all confused. Like, good morning. Like, who are you talking to? Like, yeah, good morning, bro. Like, good morning. Like, how hard is that to say hello? You know what I mean? But us in New York, you keep a mean mug. You don't look at people for too long. Somebody stare at you for 3 seconds. You're like, what you looking at?
Yeah.
So, you know, that helped me out. Just being up there, noticing like, yo, this is a different world. And even though it was 5 hours, 6 hours up north, it's a completely different world. You know what I mean? It's completely different. So just being away from home allowed me to grow. Coach Doc allowed me to grow. You know, I did some great things in Clinton on the basketball team. I ended up being captain of the team. I scored a school record 50 points in my senior night. And then I helped change the narrative of the basketball team in Clinton. because we was known as a bunch of criminals. We was known as a bunch of hood rats, and that was just the typical city kid coming up to Plattsburgh. That was the typical way that they thought about it. And I showed that, you know, like, just because I'm from the city doesn't mean that I behave like such. Not saying I'm better than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I just carry myself different. You know what I mean? So I showed a lot of people, and I got to connect with a bunch of people of different races out there. And we actually sat down and had these uncomfortable conversations of like stereotypical whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and like they were 100% honest with me. I was 100% honest with them, and like we actually got to understand each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like more people need to do that. But I would have never got to do that if I didn't go over to, you know.
I think at that point, like people's egos kind of overshout people's ears a little bit, because it's like, hey, you know, if you're trying to be authentic and vulnerable, like, hey, I want to understand, I want to actively listen, because people don't know how to listen. That's a skill.
Yeah.
People like to hear instead of listening, and that's in that point how I'm seeing, like, you know, from seeing and listening to your story, it shows that you grew tremendously from that, and then you mold yourself into a proper man, so to speak. And how did those accumulation of experience and vulnerability and understanding transferred you to Europe? How have you carried yourself in those experiences as well?
Plattsburgh has taught me to be more open-minded.
Mm-hmm.
It's taught me how to not be afraid of other races.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you, like, we're so segregated here, and you know, it's either black and Latino or white.
Mm-hmm.
It's either poor or rich.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're poor, you cannot have a conversation with a rich person. You don't feel like you're good enough to talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
So in Plattsburgh, it definitely taught me to have conversations, taught me how to have conversations with other races.
Yeah.
I know how to talk to people from my area, people that look like me, but when it came to like talking to white people, I didn't really know how to talk. I didn't know how to hold a conversation. They hold conversations different.
Mm-hmm.
At least I thought, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
The biggest thing I took from that was just to be open-minded. You know, now I'm not in another city 6 hours away. I'm in another country 8 hours away that does everything, or most things, different.
Mm-hmm.
So you got two choices. You can either adapt and try to figure out how to fit in, or you can like try to fight it and, you know, have a rough and horrible time. So my first stint out in Germany, I was in a small village. I was the only black person, I want to say, on my team. And on a given day, I would not speak English or speak at all up until practice, all day. And I had practice at 8 p.m. I didn't speak all day because nobody spoke English. So I'm like, all right, I can't not socialize. So I sat there on Duolingo. I just tried to learn the language. Over time, I'm trying to talk to people, and then they're receiving me different because I'm actually trying. So like, they'll be patient with me. We'll have a conversation at the random cafe or a random food spot or, you know, something. And I was just open to the culture, and they welcomed me with open arms. I learned a lot about European history, world history. A lot of stories are
kind of twisted a little bit, yeah.
You know, like a lot of things, you get out there, you're like, hold on, that makes a lot more sense. So you got to put this story and that story together.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, who's really the? That's another topic.
Yeah, that's another situation that we're just gonna put at that door.
But yeah.
So you socializing in Germany, that, like, you know, your first little wake up call and, like, you know, culture shock. How do you gain, like, you know, a camaraderie amongst people, whether men or women? How have you, you know, accumulate friendships over there?
I mean,
Besides attempting of learning languages, how have you, grew from that?
I mean, the good thing about when you come out there, in that city, in that town,
Mm-hmm.
when you come in as the import,
Mm-hmm.
like you come in as the celebrity. You know what I mean? Like it just is what it is. So people already, and you're American,
Yeah.
and it's a high commodity. Like let's just be honest. Like it's so people want to get to know you.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are very interested in just how you live your life because life is cool until it's not, and hip hop is cool, and basketball is cool, and they want to learn more about the culture.
Mm-hmm.
So you have some people that's like that. You have some people that's genuinely just curious about who you are and they would like to be friends. The thing I learned about Germany specifically,
Mm-hmm.
they like you or they don't. They
Yeah.
want to hang out or they don't. They're not fake. I mean, but like, I definitely saw that line where some people just did not want to be bothered with me,
Mm-hmm.
and they just did it. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool. I respect that. You stay over there, I'll stay over here. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
Some people actually want to be cool, and I've had lifetime friends that are still over there. That to this day, we still keep in contact no matter where I am in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Germany is always like the second home to me. I always have a place to stay. They always have a place to stay.
Mm-hmm.
So I've met some really good friends out there. I'm just myself. I'm not searching for friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just being myself,
Mm-hmm.
and whoever attracts, they attract. Whoever wants to be around me, they come around.
Okay. So how was your experience visiting France? Yeah. So I was like, oh, my man is going from point A to point B. How was?
I mean, well, the good thing about Europe
Mm-hmm.
is it's a 2-hour drive from Germany. No, let me say 5-hour drive from Germany. You could go to Amsterdam, Paris, Switzerland. You go to Austria. You go to fucking Italy. I don't know, like 8-hour drive, something like that. So that's nothing. My first, each year I go to a couple of different spots, whenever I have a break, just because I like to travel and see new things.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of my boys, I was telling him bro, you gotta come out, you gotta come out.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to come to Germany. I don't want to come to Germany year after year after year. I'm like, look, come out, just come out, trust me. So for him to pull up, I had to spice it up. I'm like, okay, he don't want to just come to Germany. He want to go here and there and there. So I had a week off. I told my team, they didn't like it. I told my team, yeah, this week I'm out. This week I'm out. And we drove from Germany.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Paris for it was supposed to be two days. We pushed it to 4. We just had so much fun out there. We pushed it to 4. Went up to Amsterdam.
Mm-hmm.
And then drove back down to Germany.
You must have been exhausted.
Yeah, it was tough, but it was a lifetime experience. I got to see the Eiffel Tower. I got to see the museum, the Louvre, however you say it.
Mm-hmm.
I got to see the Mona Lisa. I'm actually in Paris. He was in Paris. We was really out there. It was fun. It was cool. It was just a great experience. And to be honest with you, it felt like home. Paris and New York City is the same city. It's sister cities. UK is London is a distant sister. But it's all the same. It's all the same shit. It's all the same city. You know what I mean? So when we was taking the metro,
Mm-hmm.
we was going to the shopping areas. It felt like Soho.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. We was going everywhere.
Oh man, but not. I feel like for us, any city that has a metro or public transportation, we instantly knew how to freaking use it.
Yo, the map was so light. It was so light. New York City subway is so intricate. It's so jumbled. It's so scrambled. It's so crazy. If you can figure that out, you can figure out any train system. I've been to China. I've been to Paris, London, every other cities in the States. New York City has the craziest subway system.
Oh yeah.
And everything else is easy. Everything else is easy, bro. Like, come on, I had to figure that train system out at like 8 years old. So, I could get anywhere in the city. So I was like, all right, Paris, it was like one of the best times I had in another country for sure.
Okay, and I know like Germany holds a special place in your heart. How did you pull those experiences into Switzerland? How has that impacted your mindset?
Well, I mean, I went to Switzerland at 28, 9.
Mm-hmm.
So by then I've already seen a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at that point, this last year, I was 8 years in. I've been all over. So, it's business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I came out there, it was cool. The best part about me being in Switzerland was the fact that I was in Zurich, which is like one of the major cities. So I had everything at my disposal. But I was still disciplined enough not to do everything out there. You know what I mean? Like, as a young guy, it's probably easier to get caught up in that because you're in a big city.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that it happened when it happened. I still went out, still had my fun, but I made sure I kept the main thing.
Yeah.
Maybe at 22, 23, I would have definitely abused that. You know what I mean? But like at 29, I'm like, look, oh yeah, game we just won. Oh yeah, we going out tonight. I'm like, gotta hit the recovery. Gotta go stretch. Gotta go to the sauna tomorrow. Gotta go, recover, whatever type of recovery I'm doing. But it's
ice baths.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like they had this one spot that I went to often. It had saunas, steam rooms. It had a cold tub. I think that was about it. Yeah. And I just kind of recycled that 2 hours, give or take, on my off days.
Okay. See, I was trying to get into the ice bath thing. I was like, let me put the cold shower as cold as possible.
See, I don't like the cold shower. It's crazy. Like, I hate the cold, but I can definitely, I jump in an ice bath, maybe up to like, just the mid-stomach area, but not fully submerged in it. I'm still trying to figure that out. But
oh damn! I'd rather do fully submerged than just freeze the McNuggets.
Once you get past the waistline, you're fine. You know what I mean? Like that's the hardest part. So like now I'm just like, you know what? Just jump in or just hurry up, take my quick steps in, and just stand still. That's the main thing. You gotta stand still.
Okay. Don't fight it. It's just like, hey,
just stand still because the more you move, then the water moves and it gets cold. If you stay still for 10 minutes, you'll be fine.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. And since you're experiencing in another continent, in another country, financial management is a critical aspect of being a professional athlete. And as earning substantial earnings can come with some unique challenges. How do you handle financial matters and ensure long-term financial security in a highly unpredictable and competitive industry?
That's a great question, bro. I can't lie and say I have it all figured out financially. Definitely went through a lot of experiments. The issue that you have is you have your season, and that's about 7 to 8 months, 6 to 8 months, something like that. And then you have like 4 to 5 months off. So your best bet would be to save something. But for some of these contracts, you have to sacrifice the money just to get the contract. So you're not making as much as you would like to when you come home after working, because it is work. Yeah. It's taxing. So you come back home after working, and then you got to figure out, okay, how am I staying afloat for the next 5 months? So that's been a very tough situation. Each year I've done it differently. Some years were better than others. You pick up little odd jobs because you still want to, your body is the main thing, so you still want to be able to train, a couple times a day and stay on top of that, but you still have to make some money. So like side hustles, man, like Lyft to be honest, I've been doing some lift. I train. I started my own training business.
Mm-hmm.
Some basketball camps here and there, stuff like that. I had merch. I have merch still, but I was really big on the merch at that time. And that was the way to get by.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, when I'm overseas, I'm pretty much saving everything. Like I'm trying to save as much as I can now, just because I know that it is very unpredictable. Like you think that you have a contract coming, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. And it's like, how do you keep that going? How long can you sustain that? So with the remote jobs, with these like rideshare apps and, these Instacarts, all this stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
you just figure out a way to do it, whatever works for you. But you have to figure out something that won't take time away from the main thing, if that is what you want to do. Because when the team calls you,
Yeah.
you have to be ready. So that's a very difficult task.
Oh no, that's very insightful for even for like upcoming people. Like, hey, you know what? I want to take my talents overseas if it's not working out. So they also got to understand, like, hey, if you're really committed to this and committed to the consistency, you gotta work. You gotta work. So in recent years, issues related to mental health and well-being among athletes have gained an increased attention. How do you prioritize and take care of your mental health amidst the pressure and expectations of being a professional athlete? And what support systems do you, Christoper Miller, rely on?
So that is definitely like a shocking situation when you finally realize that you are, no matter where you go overseas, like I said, you're the celebrity there,
Mm-hmm.
and everything you do is on the forefront. So you have to hold yourself to a certain standard. Everybody's watching you, everybody's judging you. There's always somebody up next that's waiting for your spot. I've had coaches show me lists of players that's contacting them. And a lot of those players I know personally. Right? They try to take your job. Like they try to take your job right from under your feet, which is crazy. So you just gotta learn how to shut it down. It's very tough to do. I'm super sensitive when it comes to my craft because, like, I started from a D3 junior college, and I've worked up the ladder every single step. I didn't get to skip steps. I had to work and prove myself at every single step. So I am super sensitive when it comes to this because I put my life into this. From where I started to where I am and where I want to continue to go, I put it all into this. And when you have people that nitpick at this and that, like they can do better, that shit pisses me off. Right? It fucking pisses me off when people have something to say and they have not
Put in the work
at all. I hate it, and I used to be super sensitive to that, and like blow up on social media or something, or just like show it. I wasn't good at like keeping a business mind, like because it's so personal. So you have to learn how to separate it. You have to learn how to keep it business. Just that's the toughest part. And then like your circle. Like I keep a good circle around me that can tell me when I'm tripping.
Yeah.
And that's what I like, you have to have. So like if I got like a good 3 to 4 people that if I'm feeling the type of way, I'll call them first and just try to like see if my thinking is justified or if I'm overreacting because I'm like overly emotional or something like that.
So you need people to hold you accountable, like, hey, hold on.
Yeah.
Like, a little too far on the edge. Let's come back now.
Yeah. Most times, like if I'm pissed, I'll call a couple friends and I'll vent, because this basketball situation is tough. Like they want you to be God, but they want to pay you shit, and your teammates, they don't train, but they want the ball. They smoking cigarettes before the game, They drink it the night before. They can't hit a shot, but you still got to pass them the ball. Oh, they doing bullshit, but you got to clap and be like, hey, let's go. You know, like, no, nigga, get your shit together, bro.
Yeah.
What the fuck we trying to win? And then the worst part about it is when you win, the team wins. When you lose, you lose.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to lose regardless, you know what I mean? Like, it's just very frustrating. So you got to figure out a way to just get away from that. I've been like meditating. I've been, you know, in recent years. Before, I would probably like go out, have a drink or two, you know, to let loose. But now I don't really try to drink as much. So meditate, just try to detach from it. Try to find a hobby. Definitely try to find a hobby that has nothing to do with the sport. Try to find a friend group or some friends that have nothing to do with the sport.
Yeah.
So you can get away from it because sometimes it can just overwhelm you.
Yeah.
And then you just need to relax those shoulders sometimes.
It's important. It's important. Especially like, you know, for the load, the mental load is like, okay, I gotta not only carry myself, but carry the team.
You gotta carry the team.
But how you taking care of yourself is the reason why you a defensive maestro. Like, you know, hey, defensive player of the year. Yo, New York Knicks, Brooklyn Nets. Yo, it's like, give my boy a shot. Y'all playing too many games, putting people heart attack and shit. But I see it, and like, you know, it's interesting to see like the level of growth that you have, because like, you know, when we were in college, we were very immature, just like, you know what, whatever, you know, how I feel is what I feel, and that's it.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh no, there's more layers to that now. It's like you gotta hold yourself accountable and see like, yo, hey, what have I been doing to facilitate this situation?
Perfect. To add on to that, my father, you know, I called him when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I felt like he never took my side because I'm like, yo, they doing me dirty. Yo, what the fuck? They wild, yo. And he like, well, like, what did you do? Like, what do you mean what I did? He's like, what did you do?
Yeah.
And that's the tough part, to hold yourself accountable when you really gotta see that you are in control of more things than you think. Perfect example is like, all right, like if somebody hits you, we don't like that, of course. Like, but you still have a choice to make, right?
Yeah.
You can hit them back, you can get in a fight, and then you deal with the consequences, or you can walk away. You can allow somebody to get you out of your character, or you can call this move, you know, just chill. So you still, no matter what is done to you, you still have control over how you react. And once you understand that, you kind of like avoid a lot of situations. And then you're able to kind of see things at a less of a personal view, and like more overhead. Like, all right, maybe I shouldn't have dealt with that person. Like, maybe I shouldn't have been there. You know what I mean? Oh, like I don't know. Like, whatever situation that you feel like you could be the victim, that you was the victim of. You have to see what you could have done differently first before you start pointing the finger. And I felt like, oh man, that's a tough thing to learn. Because I was like, yo, like, they doing this, they doing that. And you're like, well, like, you still have some type of responsibility. So.
Like, see, like that kind of triggers a memory within my head, like what my dad always told me, like, hey, do what I say, not what I do. And it's like, hey, I'm telling you that if you do X, Y, and Z, 1, 2, 3 is gonna be a result. And like even then, like me joining the military, me like, you know, going through the avenues of like, you know, collegiate athlete to military man to different lanes and avenues. I'm like, wait, what am I doing? At times where I'm like, hey, are you the right person for this job right now? Is your mindset at a clear decision making right now? And just like as you said, like real quick, like a quick example, real quick. There was a situation where a guy pulled up his car, like you know, my wife is coming out, adjusting to get my daughter the car door is open and the person kind of just peeled in super fast, real close. And immediately I'm like, yo, that could have hit my wife. That could have been there. And the dude addressed my wife, like, yo, what up, the shorty? And him arguing with my wife, he didn't know how quickly I was within his perimeter. And he was like, oh, yo, what's up? And I was like, I could have just really, at that split decision, really ended him right there. And I think I'm like, oh, my wife, my daughter, what if he has a weapon? I have to end him. Like, immediately military mindset, I gotta put him down. Battle ready. And immediately I had to swallow my pride at that moment for the safety of my wife and child.
You gotta pick your battles.
Yeah. And then when I told this to my dad, it reignite the beast, like the sleeping beast that's like, yo, I should have just smoked him. And my dad said, you felt like your respect was taken from you at that moment, but you valued your family's safety over that situation. Who knows? He would have had a gun on him.
Yeah.
And even now, like, people can't take an ass whooping. People will real quickly, I'm just gonna put a hot bullet in your chest and call it a day.
Yeah.
And like times have been changing drastically now.
Yeah.
So it's like how you said, you gotta really pick your battles and really like keep yourself on an even keel, so to speak.
Violence for me, or like taking it to that next level, is like the last resort. I try every which way before that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so you definitely got to pick your battles, and you have, if you're a person who has a lot to live for, you have to like hold yourself accountable for that, because that one split second decision of letting rage going out of control.
Oh yeah.
I mean, especially as a black man, you have to hold yourself
at a certain level.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Because like anything can happen, bro. Anything can happen, man. Like, and we know this is unfair. It probably won't change anytime soon. So, us as black men have to really keep it even.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard at times because one simple, like, looser thread of emotion can really make or break a situation in your life.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like really don't know, like, people suffer from crimes and injuries, but men suffer from violent crimes. And like, it's crazy. So it's real quick, like how in certain instances where just quick, like, hey, you know what? It's not even worth it.
Yeah.
And especially like you're walking away and the person's approaching you. Now it's like, I'm trying to retreat. Now you're making me have to like, all right, we're gonna dance, Yeah. And it's hard.
It's tough.
It is. It's just like, oh man.
You gotta have good control over your mind. That's why like meditation is like my remedy for everything.
Yeah.
Just meditate. Learn how to control your emotions. Learn how to control your emotions, because that is very important.
Yeah, that would definitely lead you to other avenues. Like once you have like a clear mind, you can make rational decisions on like, financial or business or choosing a correct partner or anything. Like it can tie into a lot of things. Yeah. And even then it's just like, wow, like we're just living life right now.
Yeah, you gotta do what you get.
Yeah. So to conclude this, my good friend, I have the last question for you. All right. You ready? Of course you're ready, man. The concept of leadership goes beyond the sports arena. How do you approach the role of being a leader in your community and in your personal life? What qualities do you believe make a good leader?
Communication.
No. Yeah.
Communication. Like, so that was my biggest downfall. Like in my early years, I want to relay a message to a teammate, to a kid that I'm mentoring, to a parent. I just couldn't find a way to communicate because I'm from the hood, bro. You bullshit.
You bullshit. Fuck. Fuck, bro. You bullshit. Get your shit together. Get the fucking gym. Make a shot.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work for everybody.
No.
You know, so you have to learn how to get across to people. Some people you might, have to baby a little bit. Some people you could talk to them harsh. Patience. To be a leader, you need patience.
Patience is a good quality, but I feel like people now or kids now are a little gummy, a little sensitive, a little bit. They gotta build.
Some aren't. You just have to figure out what makes that person click, and then you can definitely you have to understand. You have to understand the person. You have to try to learn them. As a leader, you have to know everybody in your circle. So on my team, if I'm the leader, if I'm the captain, or even if I'm not the captain, I have to learn my teammates because he might work this way, he might work that way, but I want the betterment of the team. I want us to win the game.
Yeah.
So what do you want? How can I figure out how to make you happy or get you riled up to play? How can I figure out how to motivate you? I don't really some teammates, I might have to come up to them yo, bro, we win this game, drinks on me. We out to the club. I don't even give a fuck about the club, bro.
Yeah.
But if that's the way that we gonna
click
and click and get it together, all right, cool, we hit, all right, boom, this person, he likes this. All right, or some people competitive nature. Yeah. I bet you won't get more steals than me. I bet you won't, I don't know, get more threes. Ooh. I bet you my man that I'm guarding ain't going to score more than yours would. I don't know, whatever. You know what I mean? So you got to figure out how that works. And the same thing goes for now in my role is I'm a basketball player, but I've been turning into some type of a mentor, right? So I have a bunch of kids that look up to me of all ages, and I just try to spit the game to them. Each kid is different. Each kid retains information different, so I have to switch up some words. But I always try to figure out what makes them click. What is their goal? Some kids want to make their JV team. Some kids want to go pro. Some just want to be cool. Some just want to be accepted. You know what I mean? It's just different. So once I figure that out, I just learn how to push them.
Okay. And do you think even us as athletes, when we go to a team, we probably not probably, we definitely do seek camaraderie and brotherhood, and and just interpersonal connections with others. So, brother, my question to you to wrap this up for you, because I know your time is precious. Looking ahead into the future, what legacy would you like to leave behind? And how do you hope to inspire others and make a positive impact on the world beyond your athletic achievements?
That's a tough one, looking far into whatever. But legacy I'm gonna leave. A person that I hate the term of a product of your environment. You growing up in an inner city, we see all these people that are multi-millionaires. You know what I mean? We see all of that, and it's kind of hard to relate to those people. You know what I mean? As role models, because they came from the hood, but they're so far out there, and as much as I would love to be a celebrity, I don't know. It could happen. It could. I'm fine where I'm at. I'm not content, but if this is it, this is cool.
Yeah.
But I want to be known as one of those guys that didn't allow my circumstance to stop me. I came from Brownsville. It's one of the worst cities in the world. I, had family issues growing up. I lost my mother early. I started at D3 junior college. I went Division II, barely played. I didn't have an agent. I still went overseas. I did a bunch of tryouts. I started on the lowest level overseas and made myself a consistent basketball career that's still ongoing. I didn't listen to no. I didn't hear, oh, you're from here, you can't do it. Like anytime I hear that, it's just like, all right, like I know in my heart, I follow my heart, you know. So that's what I want to leave behind is like the courage to follow your heart when everything outside is telling you it can't be done. You know, like that's what I want to leave. That's what I want to motivate people to do. That's all I really do. That's just the basic message I give to everybody is whatever your heart is telling you to do, it's in there for a reason. Like you have that in you for a reason. Now, how do you get there? You gotta fucking have discipline. You gotta work hard at it. But you were given this dream for a reason. So make it happen. Don't let people who didn't do nothing or gave up on themselves make you give up on yourself. And as hard as it may be, I'd rather live with the disappointment of failing than not trying. Like I find not trying is even worse. Because then you gotta live the rest of your life with regret. So the legacy I want to leave is just whatever your heart desires, go for it. Make that first step. Just do it. You know what I mean? Just really do it.
Wow. That concludes our episode, people. Like, subscribe, comment, support my good man, Chris Miller. See you soon. Yo, brother. Ah, my guy.